Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the December 9th, 2024 meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit Board of Directors. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Director Brewer is absent. Director Budge is absent. Director Schaefer is absent. Director Hume?
Here.
Director Jennings?
Here.
Director Kaplan?
Here.
Director Kozlowski?
Also here.
Director Maple?
Present.
Director Serta?
Here.
Director Singh Allen?
Here.
Director Singh Allen is requested to participate online due to travel on county city council business. Is there anyone in the room with you that's 18 years or older?
No, I'm by myself.
Okay. And Director Vang is absent, and Chair Kennedy.
Here.
With that, we have a quorum of 8 votes, and this meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit District is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV Uverse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Sunday, December 15th at 11:30 a.m. and Tuesday, December 17th at 2 p.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of the meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker card located at the rear of the room and provide it to myself or Adam. Once the item has been called, additional speaker cards will not be accepted. The time allowed for public comment is at the chair's discretion. The timer will time when you have 20 seconds and then again when your time is up. There was one written public comment provided to the board on item 2.9 from Glenn Mandelkern regarding real-time reports for trains.
Thank you very much. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. That takes us to the consent calendar. I have a number of, quite a large number of speaker slips this evening. So just fair warning, I will be keeping to a solid 2 minutes on speaking. Is there any member of the board that has an item that they have any questions on of staff or would like to have anything removed from the consent calendar at this time? Okay, hearing and seeing none. On item 2.3, Helen O'Connell.
And Director Schaefer just joined the meeting.
Thank you.
Hello, board. Nice to see you again. I'm afraid you might get tired of me tonight. I have some questions about the health and welfare benefits. It says all RT. So I was wondering if that included RT Go, because I was under the impression that they had different health and welfare benefits than everybody else. And that was one of my sticking issues. So could I please have that question answered?
Mr. Lee is not here. Mr. Topaz, is that your area?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item 2.4, Jeffrey Tartagia.
My question, board, is simply, it says hazardous material. I'm presuming that is for the maintenance facility, but I'm wondering, dealing with, so we spent money on the I-80 elevator and the hazardous material coming down at the bottom. It didn't see any mention of that in your proposal there. So just wondering.
Staff, is there a response? Lisa.
But it's the cleanups for our social services practitioner, or if we have a bloodborne pathogen, that kind of thing. So it's 2 separate things.
But I didn't see it on the agreement in there.
Thank you. Item 2.7, Helen O'Connell.
Okay, I know that you guys put this out to bid and the software for the dispatch and scheduling and everything like that. Has it been brought to the attention of the people that are actually using the software? The person that comes most to mind is Kathy Sajan. And I would also wonder if the dispatchers and the schedulers had an opportunity to figure out how it works before they're required to use it.
I'm sorry. So Helen, what's your specific question?
Has the service software that's dealing with scheduling, dispatching, all that kind of stuff been introduced to the people that are actually going to use it
Thank you. Thank
before you buy it?
Got it. Staff, yes.
Helen, Kathy was part of the procurement, so she gave us feedback and she was part of the decision making on which software we went with.
Okay, thank you.
That's a yes. 2.8, Helen. Had some time on your hands today, Helen?
Actually, I got here at 1 o'clock.
Heard.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. I'm gonna try to look it up real quick. I can't remember which one's which right now.
Awarding of a contract for comprehensive operational analysis to Nelson Nygaard Consulting Associates. Is Ms. Ham here or is she hiding behind that pillar? Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes.
I believe this is the one where SACOG was involved getting our money. And they said that the money was operational expenses or capital improvements. So that means that we would have money to pay people to drive the bus, the RT Go, the train, all that kind of stuff. That seems to be a sticking point on a lot of things because I was told that they had no funds to pay any more drivers to drive RT Go. So I had a question on that.
Helen, what's your question?
How much of the operations and what's the name of the word?
This is specifically on the awarding of a contract for the operations analysis.
Okay, maybe I didn't have that correct. I think the analysis is good.
I think the analysis, part of the analysis is to find out the answer to your question.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Item 2.9, Rich Hodgkins.
Okay, is this on the train station technology?
This is the approval, SOMA's train. Yes, it is.
Okay, the only train station technology I can think of is, I understand that there are announcements generally made on safety and boarding procedures, but that what about announcements telling people that who are blind, particularly those that who do not carry smartphones around, when the next train is coming? That would be helpful even for someone like myself. So I can, because even though I carry a smartphone around, I would like to know when the next train is coming. So that when I think of, again, that when I think of when I think of train station technology, you know, in real time, an audible announcement would not only be just general announcements that which I hear all the time, but also that when the next train is coming and how long before the next train is coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rick. And Ms. Hines, I'm sure you took note of that. Thank you. 210, Helen O'Connell.
Hello. This is about the creating a new fare for SAC RT Flex microtransit service. I have an issue because it was my understanding that the new RT Flex is going to be a microtransit service that had pre-registration and stuff, but it won't be accepting prepaid fares like the 60 pass or other services that are accepted throughout the rest of RT. And I don't understand why the prepaid things like Ultra Regional, RT Go 60 pass won't be accepted on the SAC RT Flex.
Thank you. Do we have a brief staff response to that? I know Ms. Ham is not here, but
Yeah, I could.
you get the
give a
football.
Brief response here. James Drake, Senior Manager of Service Planning. And yeah, Helen, thank you for the question. I think the context that it's important here is that, you know, the transition from Smart Ride to SAC RT Flex is largely being done because it is a major cost saving measure. We have some fiscal challenges that we're dealing with, of course. And on account of that, the availability of the service we know will be considerably less than Smart Ride. So that's kind of the basis for limiting eligibility of the program just to more vulnerable populations. And it's the same basis for that limitation or the elimination of pass users, because we tend to find that with when we allow passes, a lot of our service, our available service gets absorbed by a small subset of kind of super users who will make a lot of rides. We kind of want to make sure just what we have out there is available and spread out among more total users.
Thank you, James. And just also just to keep in mind, we've had many discussions at the board level that unfortunately with budget constraints and certain funding that is no longer available, we have to make decisions that are difficult, and we can't be everything to everybody, but we need to be everything to those who need us the most. And that's, I think, where the board has fallen on that. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. 210, Rich Hodgkins.
Hey, Patrick, that would be Rick Hodgkins, but
Did I say Rich? Sorry
Rick,
about that.
yeah.
Rick.
I know even though they don't allow certain passes to be used, I will tell you that when it comes to the Connect card, it is just my understanding that Connect cards would be allowed during the use of SAC RT Flex. And that's other than that, I just wanted to make sure that the prices will still be the same for the as they were for Smart Ride for those who don't have Connect cards or Zip passes. Will the Zip passes be allowed as well? Because I don't once again, I have a Connect card. I don't have a Zip pass. So thank you.
Thank you. Kick it over to James. Just a
Neither
brief answer on what the pricing is going to be like.
Yeah, the pricing will be $2.50 across the board. And initially it'll be just cash or debit and credit in the SAC RT Flex.
Thank you. All right, 211. That was 211. Yes, no, 211. Rick Hodgkins.
And this is 211 on what item on the consent calendar?
This is the delegation of authority of the general manager, CEO, to approve amendment number 1 to work order number 4 to the contract for on-call flagging support services with National Railroad Safety Services, Inc. for additional flagging support during construction of the low-floor vehicle platform conversion phase 3 project.
Yes, I'm in support of this one. I would also like to add that I know at the Watt and Manlove Light Rail Station that what they've done is that and even at the Sunrise Light Rail Station, that what they've done is they raised the railroad tracks just before you go into the Sunrise and Watt and Manlove light rail stations, just before you go east to Sunrise light rail station, and just before you go west to Watt and I-80, or not Watt and I-80, Watt and Manlove light rail stations, there's an elevated part of the track. This definitely would eliminate people getting hit by trains if we had the ability to also have elevated tracks where the tracks used to be street level. So that's also what I would support. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate your time. All right, that takes us to the end of public comment on items on consent. Is there a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Oh, Chair Kennedy, I think we need to do the roll call vote with Sing Allen
Oh,
online.
correct. Thank you very much.
Okay,
We
so,
still have a motion in a second.
okay, who was the motion in the second?
It's a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Vice Chair, second.
Thank you. Okay, Director Brewer is absent, Director Budge is absent, Director Schaefer,
Aye.
Director Hume,
Aye.
Director Jennings,
Yes.
Director Kaplan, Director Kozlowski,
Yes.
Director Maple.
Aye.
Director Cerna, Director Sing Allen,
Aye.
and Chair Kennedy.
Aye.
The consent calendar passes with 9 votes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the participation of the public. We are now going to adjust the agenda just for a bit for time issues, and we're going to, instead of taking 6 next, we will take item 7.1. Please read that into the record, Madam Clerk.
Okay, new business 7.1, intent motion to select the chair and vice chair of the Sacramento Regional Transit Board of Directors for 2025.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Hume.
Mr. Chair, if there's no comment on this item, I would like to put forth the vice chair for the chair position and Director Sing Allen for the vice chair position.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll. Is there any public comment on this?
Oh, second.
Oh, sorry. You don't need a second. for
I think Helen.
7.1, we do have Jeffrey Tardigia. I apologize,
Okay.
Jeffrey. I have no Helen.
Jeff Tardigia. Patrick, I will say, I note the last 2 years of some of the failures of things that have not happened.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry, but I will tell you that, and will say to Rick, as the new chair, through there, is that please take in consideration the need for a 3D printer out there as well, be so that you see what you have missed so far in the implementation of the low floor light rail vehicles, and as well as the other considerations that you've got from SACOG of equity and the other situations of how that is important and of value in regards, as well as the 10 microtransit vehicles in the sitting of getting out the back and how that restricts how you pick up people because you need a cutaway. And as in 13th Street, you don't have cutaways on the north side of the street. So you only have 2 major ways of getting out of the location for electric wheelchairs. And probably disabled, should we say, and people that are blind really have to go to 13th Street to get around to knowing where they are to where they need to go. That's my comment for your new chairmanship.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Director Maple.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for your service as chair. I know it's been you've been on this board a long time. You've seen the ups and downs, the different budgetary cycles, and certainly there have been challenges over the last year or so that you've navigated very well. So it's been a pleasure serving with you in that role and continue to serve with you on this board. And want to congratulate incoming Chair Jennings as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Maple. See, Jeffrey, not a complete failure. That's all I have. We have.
Oh, right here. Can I?
Oh, yes, sorry.
So along the lines with Director Maple, I also want to thank and recognize Chair Kennedy. You have been a staunch and passionate advocate for SAC-RT. So while these are big shoes to fill, I have no doubt that the incoming chair will do a fantastic job, but you've just really been exemplary leader. And so I just want to thank you, Chair Kennedy.
Thank you, Director. I appreciate that. Roll call vote, please.
Okay, so motion Vice Chair Jennings as Chair and Director Singh Allen as Vice Chair. Director Brewer is absent. Director Budge is absent. Director Schaefer,
Aye.
Director Hume, Director Jennings,
Yes.
Director Kaplan, Director Kozlowski,
Yes.
Director Maple,
Aye.
Director Cerna, Director Singh Allen.
I for Jennings, I'm abstaining on mine unless it's needed.
Okay, I think you're good. And Director Vang is absent and Chair Kennedy.
Enthusiastic aye.
All right, motion passes with 9 and 1 abstention.
7.2, please read into the record.
7.2, information item, receive and file the annual comprehensive financial report and designate the operating surplus and working capital reserve for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024. And Jason Johnson is here to present this item.
Welcome. Good evening, Chair Kennedy and board members of the board. Jason Johnson, VP of Finance, CFO at SacRT. I am pleased to present the annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024. The goal of the independent audit is to provide reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free of material misstatements and conform with generally accepted accounting principles. SacRT has contracted with Crowe LLP, an independent certified public accountant firm, to perform the audit of the financial statements. The auditors have issued an unqualified or clean opinion on the financial statements. This means that the financial statements are free of any material misstatements. This is the 5th year in a row that SacRT has received no audit findings. Operating results for fiscal year 24 have revenues exceeding expenditures by 1.2 million. This surplus amount will be added to the existing operating reserve, which will bring our reserve balance to nearly $40 million. This fulfills our operating reserve requirement and provides the district with sufficient funds to cover approximately 60 days of operating expenditures. While this strengthens our financial position, as staff has previously noted, operating funding gaps are projected for the next 2 fiscal years. Staff continues to work closely with SACOG to ensure that SacRT receives the maximum allocation of SB 125 funding to not only close the projected operational gaps, but to free up discretionary money such as federal 5307 funds to address priority capital needs. I would like to thank the board of directors for their exceptional direction on fiscal strategy, Henry and Shelley and the executive management team for their strong leadership, and the finance team for their hard work throughout the year and in completing the audit report and annual financials. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and our auditors, Crowe LLP, are present and available for questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I hope if there's anybody in the room that has the ear of SACOG board members, they will pass on the findings of the auditor. Is there any member of the board that has any questions?
Approval?
I'll second.
It's
It's just
receiving.
an information
Yeah,
item.
It's information received and filed, but we do have Helen O'Connell.
I told you you'd hear a lot from me today. I was hoping that the surplus operating expenditures would actually go to the operating department so that we can, again, pay our people what they're worth for the jobs that they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Jeffrey Tardigia.
Hi, Jeff Tardigia. My focus in previous years, you had a line item for dealing with the bus bridges. Particularly, it was for the I-80 when we had that, and that helped determine what needed to go. What we are now doing with the I-80. Is it now because there are so many other things that it's no longer separated out for either I-80 or construction or the other? I didn't see in there a bus bridge item in your proposal, in your analysis of the budget. Just a question.
Thank you. Okay. Any member of the board? All right, thank you very much. We will move back up to item 6, public addressing items not on the agenda. Coco Cocazella. Coco, it took me 2 years to get the name right.
You did good. Better than some. And yes, thank you for your service. Coco Cocazella, Sacramento Transit Advocates and Writers. I read this evening because I want to try to fit into the 2 minutes. So here we go. This is about the Siemens low floor. I have of late become more focused on issues that mobility challenged patrons face on the Siemens low floor light rail cars. The reason for my increased attention lately is that I'm hearing the same issues raised again and again. There seems to be an implication of lack of action or at least a lack of effective communication with those who are raising the concerns. As I come up to speed on some of the line items that have been repeatedly brought to the attention of staff and/or board, I feel that the called out difficulties fall into two main categories. One, issues that reduce accessibility and independence, and I'll refer to those as equity issues. And two, issues that pose a dangerous condition to users. And I won't dig in here to deep specifics of the issues, but for the sake of a quick example or two, a couple of the danger hurdles are A, the steepness of the accessibility ramp, and B, the need to get out of the way of the ramp as it's deploying on the outside. Two examples. Quickly, a couple of brainstorm ideas that are feasible and actionable. Simply always opening the middle door and deploying the ramp at every station. Leverage technology. How about using some type of voice activated protocol using smartphone communications for those who are able to use smartphones? I recommend to think about the prioritization. Okay. Asking staff to engage in the following ASAP. Communicate when intending to dive deeper into each challenge, and if possible, provide a roadmap with milestone dates. Or if staff plans to not actually address an issue, then communicate such for transparency. Thank you. Safe and joyful holidays to everybody.
Thank you, Coco. Appreciate it. And I understand staff took notes on those comments. Thank you. Michael Bevins.
Hello, everybody. Happy holidays. I ran out of time last time, so I'm gonna run through this real fast. You want to the last minute first or first mile, last mile from your house to the bus station or bus station to work. We need to cover that somehow. We can't do it right now, but maybe in the flex program, as it does expand beyond our minimal users that's coming, maybe we can use that to get from your house to the bus station as a possibility. Be happy to pay it because it's an extra service. Also, I mean, neighborhood bus route I mentioned before, we can do that. And I'd be happy, and people who would use it maybe could pay extra, double the route instead of $1.25, whatever it is, make it $2.50 because it's an extra service. Beyond that, what I ran out last time, bike accommodation. If the future we're going to use bikes, bikes get on the trains, they're going to be full. What do? You got to wait for the next bike. We could always, I always keep coming back to it, bike trains, bike buses. Have a lot of our SAC-RT light rail trains, don't get rid of all of them, use a few of them just to go on the routes, just to collect bicycles and other people with cargo. Well, I'm happy again to pay extra for that because it's an extra service, double the route rate. Then also if you want to, people get maybe just more routes, we need an outer rim route, maybe to connect some of our outskirts towns. You know, if you want to go from Elk Grove to Folsom, really can't do it. Want to go from Citrus Heights to Folsom, really can't do it on a bus. You can install a rim route. And then if also not a rim route, then a direct bisect the region, north, south, east, west, north, south, Watt Avenue, east, west, Greenback Lane, Elkhorn Boulevard. Make that our new spines to connect to. Anyway, I think that's about it. And good luck to you on the next year. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael.
Chair and Vice Chair.
Thank you, Michael. Dan Allison.
Dan Allison, speaking for Sacramento Transit Advocates and Writers. Staff has been saying to the Mobility Advisory Council that the problems with the new light rail cars are minor and being quickly resolved. I don't observe that. I've ridden light rail a number of times the last 2 weeks. Every single trip, I've seen people having difficulty with the button press for the ramp deployment and the ramps deploying. On one trip, there were 3 incidents. One rider got left behind. Another 2 times, I think the train operator opened the door manually. And every time that happened, I kind of looked around at the other riders and they're all like rolling their eyes like, and so I asked them, is this frequent? And they all said, this happens all the time. It's really a major problem and staff is not owning up to that fact. And I have to point out that this all stems from SAC-RT's decision to do low floor and not level boarding, which Star objected to from the very beginning. That's why we're having problems with the buttons. That's why we're having problems with the ramps. Problem that would not exist if SAC-RT had gone with level boarding. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Julie Coleman. We need you to get in the microphones for the record. There we go. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just have two things. The first thing is what happens to my bus pass if I buy a 60 and I get sick and I have about 40 left? Where does that money go and what fund does it go into? And the other one is our drivers, our paratransit Go drivers deserve the better benefits, or they are your workhorses. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie. And someone from staff can answer that first question, not right now, but to Julie directly. It seems simple enough to answer that. Jeffrey Tartaguia.
This is Jeff Tartaguia. I can echo the experience of the last 2 weeks, as I've informed Bianca over there for operations, is had a train suddenly stop, watch people get thrown out of their chairs, have had the problem with the pushing of buttons, had the problem today where the one of the accessible buttons to push on there was no longer working, and it interfered with one of the doors through there. So over here at the Archive Plaza, we had an individual that had to slam against the door to get it to open up. You need to change where it says do not lean against the doors, make those signs bigger because people are leaning against your doors. There is access issues that you need to determine in a better manner than you have right now. And I will say to you that going around, if you do a survey again, you will find how many people are displeased with the low floor vehicles. In the high platform, I have space to get around. The day before Thanksgiving on Tuesday, when 29th Street Food Bank was producing turkeys, I had 7 carts around me, so I could not move. There is no way of moving when you've got 7 carts around you. Blocking any access to even get to the button, much like everything else. At the same time, I will say I've had operators that indeed take care of, and when they see that there is an issue because they can't see inside the train, when they see somebody trying to get on there, that they will spend a little extra moment waiting so you can go from one ramp to another to get aboard your low floor light rail trains. All of these issues, as well as some others, you have not responded to and answered. 65th Street, Zinfandel is another one that you could not put a 40-inch wheelchair in there from high ramp to low. 29th Street, the high ramp is at one level or the other, and I am ending that.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Just for the record, because there's no place on the agenda to really say this, so this is not a back and forth. I have made the recommendation to the incoming chair that we establish a subcommittee, an ad hoc committee for a limited term purpose to meet with staff to further go into issues of the modernization, just so that the board hears some of this, not just at every board meeting, but has a better grasp of this of the issues. So it'll be up to next year's leadership, but that's a recommendation. Rick Hodgkins.
Thank you. Yes. On the BART trains in San Francisco, there's actually signs for passengers on the inside of the train that says, do not lean on the doors, or please do not lean on the doors. Maybe perhaps, and again, it's people on the inside of the light rail trains that are doing the very same thing up here. So again, once again, that print needs to be big enough. So that's why the doors are broken. Also, my main concerns on items just not on the agenda are, why can't the public participate virtually on Zoom anymore? My mom, even though she doesn't live with me, says I should not be involved in these meetings anymore, that I should just send emails from home or participate virtually. Now, she doesn't live with me, so I was able to sneak away, and she was at the dentist. And the other thing is, I go to 24-hour fitness, and that there are times that when most of the time USERV is sent, but that when USERV is not sent, paratransit buses are sent, and paratransit buses are always coming outside of the window, particularly on the way to the gym, and that therefore I have to shorten my workout, and it does not look good. So I can't help but wonder why paratransit buses are always late picking me up from home. I know that they have 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after the window, but lately if it's a bus, lately that they've been coming outside of the window. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick, and staff has made note of that, and we'll look into that. Arthur Federling? Yes, it is.
Yes, thank you, Board. I just have basically one quick question. That like on the RT Flex, that's supposed to start officially on the 2nd. I know you're supposed to, you mentioned earlier something about registering. Well, I don't even know what you're supposed to do. I don't even think your staff knows what to do. And I would like to sign up to use that if it's at all possible. And another thing, I don't know if it's going to be happening, but are they still going to have RT Flex as a test for about a couple of weeks? That was the last I heard. And I thank you.
Thank you very much, Arthur. It's good to see you again. Welcome back. If somebody staff can address directly, that'd be fantastic. Okay, thank you very much. I have no more cards for items not on the agenda, which takes us to item number 8, the General Manager's Report.
Good evening, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and the members of the board. At this last board meeting of the year 2024, I just want to express our sincere thanks and appreciations to millions of our riders, 1,500 hardworking SAC-RT staff members, a wide variety of public transit advocates, many SAC-RT partners, and gracious funding agencies from USDOT, FTA, and the state and the regional partners and friends. And actually, I especially want to thank our advocates who always give us some constructive criticisms, so we can improve our service continuously with their advices or support, like Jeff, Helen, you guys give us lots of great constructive, great ideas. Also, I want to thank to all of you for your unbelievable support to SAC-RT in 2024. This year alone, we secured over $200 million formula funds And in the meantime, we secured or closed or received close to $150 million of competitive grant funding. For example, with a historical $77 million federal funds for our hydrogen and electric low emission buses, we're on the way to secure another $80 million similar grant fundings as a leverage from a variety of other sources to help us not just keep, allow us to keep the pre-COVID service level, and but also add new service, and also to achieve the climate change and the GHG reduction goal for this region, and enhance the quality of life for 2.6 million citizens of this great capital region. I certainly want to thank our steadfast board of directors and for your extraordinary leadership, and special thanks to Chair Kennedy for your relentless service and unbelievable leadership to move this agency to a higher new level. And congrats to newly nominated Chair Jennings and Vice Chair Xin Allen, and wish all a safe, joyful, and a Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year's. Mr. Chair, that concludes my GM report. Get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. Any questions? Okay. Next item is item 9.1. Please read that into the record, Madam Clerk. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeffrey, you have a card in for, no, okay. All right. 9.1.
9.1 Capital Corridor Joint Powers Authority Meeting Summary of November 20th, 2024.
Anybody have anything to add?
I do.
Right.
Thank you, Chair.
Sure.
So we met on the 20th of November, and the two major action items were to reestablish or to create an agreement for our administrative services with BART. That passed unanimously. Also, we accepted the South Bay Connect final environmental impact report. There's a lot of public comment on this item. It was quite extensive. It is the new line actually bypasses the city of Hayward. Most people in Hayward are not happy to hear that, but this does streamline the line overall. But we did, the board did pass unanimously to accept the EIR. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Director. Any questions from the board? I do have Rick Hodgkins.
Oh, there we go. I had pushed a button to turn it back on because it was off. Okay. Okay, so I guess I have a question for the Capital Corridor Joint Powers Authority, and that is, are you aware that the buses, the Amtrak Thruway buses, particularly the one that which goes to and from South Lake Tahoe, are you aware that there's only one bus a day? And are you also aware that that bus does not have a bathroom, and it does not even have table trays? Like if you were to bring food and drink on board, that there's no place to set your food or drink. There used to be, 3 buses coming and 3 buses going, and that those buses had bathrooms and table trays and food and drink. Before you were on the board, before you were on the JPA, that there was this change was made. So I don't think you were involved in that, but just thought I would point that out. So that's why I asked those 2 questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. And I'm not going to put Director Schaefer on the hook for representing the entire JPA, but I'm sure he'll take those comments back to the board. Thank you.
Definitely take those comments back with me.
Okay. 9.2.
9.2 Mobility Advisory Council Meeting Summary of November 21st, 2024.
Any questions from the board? Hearing and seeing none. Rick Hodgkins.
Not looking at the report, I'll probably have to see if I can go to RT's website to look for it, but I can't help but that wonder if they even covered the things that were covered here tonight, not only about the doors, that which, by the way, is a legitimate question, and people having a hard time with the low floor vehicles. By the way, I love the low floor vehicles because of how comfortable and quiet they are and how easy I find getting on and off of them. But if people are having trouble with, I mean, people would, and the stuff about Archives Plaza and 13th Street for people that are blind, as Jeffrey pointed out, that's pretty important. That's pretty serious stuff. But also what I said about there being audible announcements to tell people that who are blind in real time when the next train is coming and how long before it comes, and real time arrival, that this is what they do with the Muni light rail trains and BART trains and down in San Francisco area. This is what we need up here. And I just can't help but that wonder if the MAC has talked about it up here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rick. Appreciate your comments. 9.3, please.
9.3, San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority meeting summary on November 22nd, 2024.
Anybody?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'll just add, it's not captured in these minutes because I think given the holidays, we had meetings compressed into one another, but I have bumped up against the term limits for the allowances of the San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority. So I will be stepping down as chair, but they will ask me to remain on as vice chair in order to provide some continuity as we look to expand the service here northward. So looking forward to that.
Thank you for your work. Appreciate it. I have Jeffrey Tartagia.
Jeff Tartagia.
Yeah.
Just like with SACOG, appreciate, when you have these joint powers that you give us some idea of what's going on. And that's why I was going to put Patrick on the spot a little bit about explaining about the noon SACOG meeting relating to the travel program. I think it's going to be expanded next year, but just feel like, it would be nice to hear how that affects Sacramento Regional Transit. But thank you guys that are going on these things of reporting back what's not in the written reports, and telling us what's happening and going on. That's why I'm commenting here, and appreciate you board members that have something and flagged for us. What in the world had lots of public comment? What, in a sense, you realized would have an impact for Sacramento Regional Transit? And that's what my public comment is on these reports. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. That is my last public comment. Is there any other member that has any comments on item 9.3? Hearing and seeing none, that takes us to the end of our meeting. And let me just say, to my fellow board members, our phenomenal staff, and most importantly, the passionate and well-informed public that comes regularly to keep us honest. I hope you will have a fantastic, happy new year, wonderful holiday season, and thank you for being here time in and time out. We really do appreciate it. So we're adjourned.
And again, thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Chair Emeritus.
Already.
I'm so old.
Already.